everybody. I'm having a play day today. And it wasn't planned or anything. But what happened was, I woke up. We usually get out of bed at about 6:30 in the morning, sometimes 7, but somewhere in there. But anyway, I woke up about an hour early this morning, and I had all these. It's either, no, not sugar plums and berries, but it's usually I'm painting or something. But this time I was thinking about my orchids, and all my small orchids, the little ones in these small pots, they're forever a problem for me, and I decided at that hour in the morning I was gonna fix that problem because I got 4 of them here. They take up space, they dry out way too fast. I don't want to use moss because I'm so happy with the bark. One of these is one that I thought was dead and put out in the greenhouse, and it's starting to look better, but we're going to see how they all. They're just 4 that I've been babying, and they've not done too well. So I had this plan. Now, I have this beautiful basket. Now, it doesn't have a hole in the bottom. I'm not going to drill it. It's vintage. It's probably worth like 40 bucks or something. But you know what? The teenagers, the kids nowadays, they don't care. And you know what? This has been sitting on a shelf for so long. And I thought, really, why don't I get some enjoyment out of it? And I thought, well, it's not that deep, but there's a lot of surface area. And I'm going to put 4 orchids in it. And I'm not putting a drain hole in the bottom, but it's not going to hold much water anyway. And I'm going to take those 4 sad orchids, and because they're in a bigger area, they will stay damp a little longer. Plus, I'm going to keep them on my counter there, but the way I move things, I'm not saying they'll stay there. But for now, I'm going to put them there. I can mist them often. The kitchen when I'm cooking gets humid, and it's actually a good place. So that's what I'm thinking till summer when they can go outside, and it can be moved around. And that's what I'm going to do. And let's get at it. I didn't plan on doing this. Now, make sure I don't drink this instead of my tea, which is here. I got hibiscus tea. Make sure you get yours. Okay, so what I'm going to do, in here I used 1/4 teaspoon of seaweed extract and CalMag. I have a different seaweed. This is one that's almost empty I want to use for different things like bark. And so I used 1/4 teaspoon in here. And this is my CalMag. I used 1/4 teaspoon in there. Because when I'm going to soak them in this liquid, I mixed it in here so that it would be stirred up good. So I'll probably be adding some more water, but I thought I'd start with that. So what I'm going to do is take each of them out of the pot. I've sterilized my scissors, and I've got pliers, and I've got hydrogen peroxide, 3% actually. So because one of them was out in the greenhouse, it was on death's door. But I decided I'm going to put all 4 of these in that basket. I'm going to take them out of the bark, and I'm going to soak them in the seaweed extract and CalMag. And I'm also going to soak all the bark that's going to go back in the container. I'm going to figure out how much I need. So let's have a look at all of them. And any that have little spikes, I'm taking off. They're not healthy enough to let them spike. So this is the plan. And next year, what I'm hoping is, we've got, for one thing, these 4 have been struggling. And now they'll have the spring and the growing season ahead of them. They should take off in that basket. And then what a beautiful sight next year. I think positive, so that's what we're going with. So I'm going to take each one out and soak it in here. So maybe I'll put that there. And which one should I take first? This is the one that was out in the greenhouse. So I'm going to, I thought it was, no, it wasn't this one. No, just a minute. Yeah, it was this one. It was this one. Now I remember. So I'm just going to dump the bark on the tray. I'll give the pots a little wash after too, just to be sure. You never know what I'm going to pick up out in the greenhouse. Oops, oops, oops. I got my stool here. I don't want to fall. So, it was in sad shape, but these are the two little roots and this one. And now one started to grow. Now, see, this might have been an old root, but it was firm. You don't cut them off when they're firm, because look what happened. It's got a nice little one coming. The rest are firm. In the past, when I've tried to heal it, I've left some pieces, but it's been cleaned up pretty good. Maybe there's a dry piece there I can take off. So there's a little piece right here. It was hard to get because that's where the flower had spiked. So I'm going to snip that off. Yeah, there. And I'm going to take that old flower spike thing off too. So there, this is what it looks like. It's trying to do a leaf. It's got some sticky stuff. There could be scale. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, I don't do this with the ones inside anymore because they're so healthy, but these ones I'm going to spray the whole root. I'm going to let it fizz and sit like that. I'm going to do under the leaves. I'm going to do it real good. And I'm just going to let it sit like that before I rinse it off. And I try not to use too much on my orchids, only when I have to. If I see a scale, I take it right away on watering day when I'm wiping them and checking them. The odd time I get one or two, that's how you can keep it down. Because I had a couple that continually had them. Then you have to get serious with those ones and get them cleaned up. But you know, it does, the scale takes a lot out of them. And it's best if you don't have to use harsh treatments. I see something I want to cut off right there. Yeah, it's a little bit green in there, but it's only ones keeping it alive are the new ones that grew in the greenhouse. So there, okay. I think we're good. So now I'm going to rinse it off. And it's going in to soak in the water. They're all going to end up in here. And you know what I got? So at the grocery store they had these big plugs. And I know you don't want bark running down your sink, and I usually turn the drain thing upside down. But this thing works good, and it picks them up, and I can just take a little side off and let it drain. So I'm using that, but I'm going to push all this bark this way. This bark is in good shape. One thing about bark, it won't deteriorate too fast if that's all that's in there, especially when the water just runs right through. But it has started to hold water, but that'll be good. I'm not going to put brand new bark. I'm putting this bark back. It's still really good, but it has started to help hold a little humidity. Some of them more than others, like this one, it's quite darker, and I can feel the difference of the dampness. And this one's dry, so there will be a mixture. There's quite a few dry ones. Okay, first one's done. Okay, now we got another one. Now this one, it's only got 2 leaves. It's been struggling. I'm going to do the same routine. It tried to, I think in one of my videos I said, I don't think I'll let that spike. And we're going to deal with that right now. And the only thing I didn't get handy was a bit of cinnamon. So I'll get a little spoon and a little cinnamon. Because that spike, I don't want it to, there it is. So this one's in sad shape too. Tried to spike. I'm going to take it off. One leaf has had a black spot on it for some time. Just a little one. No sign of a new leaf. Not much happening. So now, this is one thing I do want to do. Let me bring this closer. Closer. Okay. One thing I do want to do is, you see this husky stuff? This stuff? This is old leaves that have come off and left part of the leaf. And I have found over time that those things, they harbor little wet. It's very, I don't want to put that in there, but it's very easy for wet to stay under there. So I started taking that off. If I can get a good hold of it. See? I've started taking that off because, you know, disease, or here, this side, see? See, right here, that sort of darker thing, that's got to come off of there. I'm taking it off. Oh, there. See that? You know why it's black? Because it gets wet under there and it's not drying too quick. And that's not good. So now there's more here. Now I try to take that off because there inside, you can see where I'm taking it, right in here. There's a little piece there. Yeah, because it's not a good thing. Here's a piece here. I'm going to go right there. I'm going to get the right angle here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. Whoop. There. Okay, they're only going to harbor little places for little bugs and dampness to grow. And if I'm going to start getting picky with them, well, then, okay. And there's a dry stalk. These are, I'm just going to use the same scissors because it's dry. And the one over here. Now I want to, maybe I'll heat them before I take that fresh green one. I just put them in the gas stove. I was going to do a different video next, but then you know, it's all these days you decide to play. So okay, this is coming off. And it's coming off right there. Okay. I could put that in some water. And then I'm going to put a little bit of Q-tips work good for this, but there, we got some cinnamon on it. I may put some more on after because I'm still going to spray this one. Now, there's some roots that, well, this one's broken in a few places. And there's not, the healthiest root is this one. These aren't too bad. I'm going to snip this one. It's green inside, so they could still get a shoot. So yeah, they're not the healthiest ones. Like I say, I've been having trouble with these ones. So this is what I'm doing. Now, the hydrogen peroxide everywhere. I don't see any bugs, but just to be cautious. I like to look. If you've got tweezers, you can get in there with tweezers and get real fussy. So, anyway, this one is going in the little soak with the. When you have a sad orchid, it's no good trying to give them fertilizer. They're not going to absorb it very good. So you could switch between black tea and seaweed extract. I was getting this one. Of course, I switched to the other one on Amazon because this one was actually quite expensive. And then all of a sudden, Covey, for some reason, I had trouble getting it. So that was the change. So now I'm going to make, this one. Now this one is a little older. I don't think I'll use those barks. They're not crumbly. They're still big, but I don't like the smell of them. So let's pick those out of there. There. Get the black ones out. They're not coming out in pieces anymore. They're still quite hard. There. Okay, then this pot, I'm going to dump this. This is my compost bin in here. So $6 at a garage sale. Probably paid less than that. That was some other time, but it's a nice pot, but they're too small for me. I'm not going to use them. Now, if you were a neighbor and you said, hey, I can use them, I'd say, okay, come and get them. Come and get them. Because I don't think I'll be using those small ones again. Okay, we've got 2 in the pot. Oh. And here comes number 3. This one's got some growing out. And they're not going to be growing out in the new pot. And if you put an aerial root outside, inside that was outside, it probably won't survive. I'll probably end up having to trim. The roots are looking pretty good in here. If I can get it out of the pot. I think I should soak this one for a while. It always helps to put some water on them. While I do the other one, I think I'll soak this one. Wow. Yeah, that was the bigger one. I'll have to put it in the middle. Okay, now this one. See what we got. Yeah, they just dry, especially here. Like salmon armlet, it's like we have cold winters and some rain, nothing like the coast. But then in the summer we have like hot, like very hot, dry summers. So this one's looking pretty good. I'm just going to put them all in the pot because I can go back and check them at some other time. But when you're in bark, you don't have roots go rotten in bark unless your bark is going, because the drainage is so good that you just don't. So unless it's breaking down, then you might have some trouble. But I never have trouble that way. I've never had crown rot because I always plant them high. So anyways, I haven't put them in a big dish like this before, but I thought, you know, here's that dish. It's so pretty sitting up there, and I'm going to do something with it. So then Now, I'm not going to hurt that plant and take these pieces of bark off. I have found that when they start clinging, they get happy. I have found they like to cling. So a lot of my pots now, if I can get the bark out without disturbing them, that's what I'm going to do. It's better. They just, I think they're happy when they're clinging. He doesn't know if he's clinging onto a big tree or the side of a little piece of bark. He just knows he's clinging. So let's see what we can do here. Do you want to see in there? This is the one with the most roots. But still, I know way too fast. I gotta try and get it out there. Oh, oh. A little bit better. Poke from that end. I might lose one. It's not, the whole pot is not glazed. Like, there's always little spots they miss, and those are the spots they like. We're getting there. Getting there. Oh, that one squish. Okay, come on. Those ones out. Get my hand in there now. Oh yeah, there's a pot at the bottom of the pot that's quite rough. So I got one more spot here. Yeah. We've almost got it. Almost got it. Oh yeah, there's some way down in the bottom. Let's see, they are stuck. I'm just gonna play trying to get that one loose. We got them loose. Yeah, it's good to wash these, so I'll wash them. Okay, so this is what we got. Hasn't been out of this pot in a while. Now, there's a piece right here. And the reason they don't rot, even though they've gone, is because of the dry bark. So I'm going to take that piece off. So, other than that, things are looking pretty good. So, but what I don't like is right here. Here's another piece of this stuff. I actually got it with my finger. That allows for roots to grow out better too, so if you've got one that's having trouble getting roots, there's nothing soggy here, and this one's perked up, but one reason I picked it is it's got some bad splits all the way up the leaf. So this is a dish that all the ones that were kind of sad, I'm hoping are gonna perk up. So, you know, you start looking around your house and, oh, orchid pot. You know, there it is sitting up on this shelf. I might as well make use of it. Yeah. I hope it works. I say it can't be too much worse than it's been. Being this is the one with the biggest. It looks like the biggest. The others look pretty mini. So I'll let them soak there. And then I'll see how much bark the pot will take. So they can soak in this dish. I think I'll add a little bit more water. Lukewarm, of course. There. Now I'm just going to set these over here to soak. And that spike that came off. Okay, I want to see how much bark it's going to take. Then I know how much bark, because I'm going to let it soak a little bit. So I did have some here. So I'll just put it in there. We have to leave room for plants too. So probably use more than that. Let's go down to this brown end. So all this good bark can go back in. And then I'll leave room for, I'm going to soak the bark too. I'm going to put it back. I think I'm getting pretty close to having a good amount of bark in there. You know, if you have some old bark and some new bark, that's okay too, because those little good bacteria that are on the bark, they are beneficial. So then they will still be able to do their job. So I've got a fair amount of bark in here, leaving room for some roots, and I can always add on the top. But I want to soak the bark that is going to be mostly in the bottom area. If I have to put some on the top, I'm not too worried about that. So, well, that worked out good. So, I'm going to put some water in there. Now, put a little bit. But you know what? I like to mix. I like to mix first. And I think I always shake that CalMag up a bit. And sometimes I spill a bit, but I'm going to use 1/4 teaspoon, approximately. Oh, a little bit more, probably half the time it ran in there. And the seaweed, which is going to help the root growth. And that's what we want. There, that's 1/4 teaspoon. And then if I put a little water, mix it up good, where I add it. So, I don't know. It just came to me in the morning, how things do sometimes. And I thought, nope, I'm going to do it. So we went shopping this morning, and boy, so many empty shelves in our stores. They say they order stuff, but they just don't get it. So I don't know if they save it for the bigger cities or what. But luckily, I'll be planting a big garden this year. There. What I'm going to do, I'm going to clean up my mess and let everything soak. And I'll probably give it about an hour or so, maybe after we have our afternoon coffee. I'll come back and put it back into the dish and see how it goes. And that way they get a good soak, and I think they'll be better off for it. So I'm going to do a cleanup, and I'll be back later. I'm back. Okay, we're going to put this together and see how it looks in the pot. And then I have to show you a couple orchids that have just opened. One of them is beautiful. So, okay, let's get this done. We just finished coffee and espresso, so I'm real good now, real good. Okay, maybe I'll move. Oh, I better put this here. I'll be wet. Okay, let's move this. Okay, I'm going to put this in the strainer. I'll get my strainer. I didn't know I was going to do this, but I'm glad I am. So, we'll dump this. Here we go. And what I'm going to do is, I think I'll just put a little in the bottom and then settle all the plants where I want them. And then I'll put the rest of the bark in. I'm just picking, there's some old cement there. Good for calcium. It takes a long time to sort of go through and do its thing, but I'll put that more on the top. Okay, I'm going to spread that out a bit. Okay, now I think I'll put the big one. Oh, they're nice and green now. This one's nice and green. This was the one with the most roots, but not a healthy leaves. So there's reasons for all of this. And I think That one will go in the middle, and then it can grow up either side of the handle. Watering day, I'll just put it in the shower with the other ones and hose it down. That's easy. Okay, and then we have another little one. Little soak in the water perked them up. So any that were out are now in. They're not. I could put one partly out the little hole. That one was partly out, and so was that one. So actually they were aerial roots, and they may continue to grow through there. So
Snake's down there again.
hi, you're on video. Let me show the pot and tell him he's gone. Okay. He didn't want to be on video. Okay, so now I got two more. So if I put that one there and that one there, and one here, and I think this little one here, that's going to be a full pot. And we'll see how they do. It's a good experiment, but I think they're still going to have more moisture than they had in the little pots. And then I'm just going to put the bark in. Did you hear what he said? He said something stunk down there. I think it's a grudge. He's always doing something. He took the little brown orchid pot that I took an orchid out of, and he says he can make it bigger. So he took it, and I don't know what he's doing with it. He's keeping that a secret for now. He said he's going to make a big pot out of it. I have no idea how, but there, get these in. Actually, it holds quite a bit of bark once you start putting it in. Excuse me, itchy nose. Yeah. Maybe even more than I thought. Are you going to show the pot?
No, why am I going to show it?
Yeah, this pot. This is the pot I took one of the orchids out of. And he said
But
that...
I can't do it.
Oh, he can't do it.
No, I need something rectangular actually.
Oh, he needs something rectangular. I don't know what he's doing. I don't have a rectangular one. There. We got a little bit behind today. Phone calls. Okay. Wow. I may even have to add a little bark to the top. But I can do that. I can still do that. I'll soak a little bit and put it on the top. I've got them where I want them. Oh, I think this will be beautiful. Okay, I'm going to show you how this looks. And then I'm going to show you the window.
Flower pot out of that beautiful dish.
I know. I already said that this dish was just sitting on the top of the shelf, never ever used.
Because
and
it's beautiful.
It's going to be even more beautiful with orchids in it. Okay, put that there. I did put it on a bigger pot. But I think I've lots of room to put some more bark in there. So I'll have to get some. I'll go fill this up later, and then I'll just sprinkle it on the top. So this is how it looks. I think it's going to be very beautiful. I'm just going to set it here, and I'm going to get the camera, and then I'll show you how it looks there. And then I'll show you the orchids in the window. And yeah, I think it's going to be very nice. I don't even know if I need that plate under it, because once it's drained, it's drained. Yeah, I think we're going to be good. But I think I can hump it quite a bit more. I'll show you a closer up look of it. Okay. So yes, I can add a lot more bark in here. I think I got the middle pretty good. And there, and it's just going to sit right here. Probably won't get flowers till next year, but that's okay. We can wait. Okay, I have to show you the ones in bloom. This is the Mini pot. And a close-up of the pot. Yeah. This blooms every year. Every year. Just beautiful. And of course that's a sewer pipe. And Moonglow, she has another bud ready to open. And she's looking pretty beautiful too. Turn her around. There. Okay. And you know this pot, it's just doing wonderful in here. It's very, very happy. I love these pots. I'm out of the sheep moss, but if you have a big wiry pot, it does hold things in. I think keeps the pot a little moister. Very beautiful. Okay, and then down here, this one is opening up still. They're beautiful. But the one I want to show you that's just opened, I put it in this pot because it looked Asian and it's such a beautiful color. It's sort of, I don't know if it's going to show, but it's more a creamy than white. And a really deep center. Just beautiful. So that's what, and up here in this little pot, we have some too. So they're all starting to open. They're all coming in the other room too. But that's it for now. I gotta go. This was unplanned, but thanks for joining me.